Welcome everybody to our weekly group call. It is the 27th of October in the US, 28th where I am. Hope you've all had a fantastic weekend. I know you've had a very successful trading week and we'll review some of those results in a moment. And we're going to cover a few things on this call. It's not going to be as hectic as last week's call. We're not going to cover as much, but we're going to cover some really awesome indicator combinations that you can set up. And we'll go through that also. So let's look at our agenda for the week or for this call. So like I said, last week's performance, our game plan for the week ahead. So our game plan last week was absolutely phenomenal. We had some really, really awesome results and we'll review those. And then we're going to look at some signal charts and also creating, new signal charts with different indicator combinations. So bit of a insight into some of the indicators and how they can be used in combination. Okay, so let's do that. I'll just deactivate this camera and we'll jump into the screen sharing again. There's our signal chart. Okay, so let's look at our results. So starting from the 21st, which was Monday last week, we had results posted in our group. So thank you to the guys who are continually posting results in the group results chat. It's very helpful to share these. Some really awesome results shared by Christopher there to start the week off. And continuing over there, we had a bit of a losing session on your templates that you created for the 3 a.m., which is fine. We had some additional results shared over there, so thank you for that. Again, continuation. Nice screenshot there. So I really like the way that you share your results and you're putting through your screenshots and a bit of annotation there about them, so that is really cool. And continuing on there, Bruce, thank you for that. We had some manual trading, which is really nice, and continued. So again, the week continues, templates are being run, so yeah, some very positive results shared there. So very encouraging. And a lot of the templates that we are running. So, the idea behind this too is to make sure that everybody is receiving or getting the same results. And, when you're running the DTB templates, it's important to share your results because, we can compare them to each other. And basically Christopher was running his, I was running mine, and we had the same trades, the same entries, which is really cool. And that continued on, really nice going forward there. Okay. So manual trading. So I'm really encouraged. I really like it when I see you guys, doing some manual trading. So, well done on that. This was your manual trading result. So very, very awesome. Well done on that. Continuing on there. So ATMs, when you're doing your manual trading, it's good to use different ATMs. So they're very powerful in determining, your profit and loss and your risk. So more manual trading over here. Very nice and clean charts, which is really cool. So nice to see that happening. And then again over there, so signal chart, entering positions. So we were looking at that signal chart a few minutes ago, which we'll jump back to in a sec. Our game plan results, this was specifically trading the templates that were shared in the game plan. Really awesome trades over there too. Good returns over there. So I've documented my trades very well for the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So those were all listed over there. For those guys who traded the game plan MNQ template this week, oh my gosh, I think it was at least $700-800 made just on that MNQ template, trading from 9:35 till 11. So that was absolutely fantastic. And I think I had 100% success rate on that template on that specific day, which is all documented nicely here in the game plan. So again, even the 3 a.m. template did extremely well. The ES didn't perform exceptionally well this week. I think it was, a very few positions over there. So I've slightly adjusted the template for this week. We are using the same strategy this week. Over the last many months, I've been highlighting different strategies in the game plan. And, a lot of people are finding the most effective results using the baseline wick trader. So we're just going to continue highlighting that one. So again, all of these are posted nicely in there. Again, the game plan and the MNQ, the 8 to 11 template, 372 net profit, a very big day on there. So that was very encouraging. And that basically continued. So really exciting on that. So how's our signal chart? So, the signal charts that I share on these calls, at the beginning of the call, they just basically highlight what a good combination of tools, what results they can generate. So, really effective signals generated. We have our breakout volume markers that plot our support and resistance line. And very often we get reactions around these levels as can be seen over there. In fact, multiple times coming in there, we had the sellers take over the market a little bit, which can be, the coloring of the bars really helps in that regard. So looking at the beginning of the session at 6 p.m., we had the price just go straight up. We had a very small little turnaround there. Otherwise, basically green bars all the way. And only over here did we have a slight pullback. But our indicators are giving us phenomenal support and resistance. And here we have the 76.4, the 5-minute Fibonacci level. We see a little bounce off there. So these Fib levels are exceptionally brilliant at determining, the long-term, the short-term support and resistance. We also had a 4-hour 76.4, which is slightly hidden behind the the text over there. So we're going to be looking at a few of those. Look at our take and run template, same type of thing, beautiful upwards momentum over there. And this is a very nice clean chart. So anybody who wants to see these indicators, as a DTB subscriber, it's on a workspace. So you can go workspace and you can go load, and these indicators are part of this. And then a few other combinations over there. You can see some really powerful, visualization of what price is doing, what it's likely to do next. We've got our flat baseline chart. This is one I just put on there. It's only a 149 tick chart. So it basically shows a baseline at 149 ticks. And there's our trending baseline. Obviously, the market's been trending the whole way up today. A few of the other combinations. Our brick wall. This is something we're going to look at today. Our brick wall indicator is something that most of our strategies actually use. So they really provide exceptional signals for price reversals, for price continuation, producing those levels again. So there we go. Beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to just minimize this. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at our game plan. So our game plan for the week ahead. So if I go to my workspace, I'm just going to close this one over here, the indicator sample, just so that it doesn't get in our way. And I'm going to bring up the workspace. Okay, so this is our workspace for the game plan ahead. So as you can see, all the templates are loaded up on here. I've currently loaded them on my sim account, which I'll convert later. Our game plan document is over here. So this is the game plan for the week ahead. I've updated it before our call. So anybody who hasn't reviewed the game plan yet, I think it's really important that you review this document and actually do what it says on the document. So we need to make sure, first of all, that we on the 25th of October works assembly. There were some very small little updates I did to the assembly over the weekend. And then it's about, running the script, making sure that, NinjaTrader is closed. We want to run the script while NinjaTrader is closed. Selecting option 4, and this is going to update the workspace. And all of our templates are listed in there for the week ahead. So we're going to run 1, 2, 3, 4 templates this week, exactly what we did last week. I have changed the bar size for the ES chart, and I've done the optimization on that. And then, as usual, I've just popped in the screenshots of what the chart looks like and historical performance as we load it up. So go and compare that to your actual chart to make sure that all lines up. The NQ is looking good. The NQ chart, the NQ strategy does have a higher drawdown historically. So, this isn't for the funded account programs that some of you might be running, because this is a higher, it's a higher drawdown, but also much higher profit. So I run this on my personal account where I don't have the limitations with drawdown and all that. So I'll be doing that. There will be a few other templates that will be shared in the baseline Wick Trader chat. So if you go look at your chat for, let me just find my Discord again over here. So the baseline Wick Trader chat, you are going to find templates shared in there for members, and this will be, there's some good ones shared over there. I think Christopher is still going to put a few others in. I see he has put in some there. So some of these are much lower drawdown. So like this is an NQ template, and it's got a 15,000 profit with a 1.6 drawdown, 95% win rate. So there's a few in there that are more suited for your funded account programs that you want to run, that are much less of a risk. They've obviously got a much smaller drawdown value. So when the strategy hits a certain drawdown, it's actually going to stop trading if it does. But otherwise, some really nice. In fact, this one looks pretty awesome. Christopher, well done. This looks better than the one I've got in my game plan, actually. So it's got a 74 profit. It's got a 6,500 drawdown, 87 win rate. So that looks pretty good. So feel free to run that template instead of the one in the game plan if you want to limit your potential drawdown risk on there. So lovely. Okay, great. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to close these workspaces. Okay. And I can save that. That's fine. All right. So we're going to open up a new chart. And what I'm going to do here is we're going to play around with the indicators a little bit. So I'm going to open up an NQ chart. Actually, let's go with MNQ, because a lot of you guys, when you're experimenting with, with indicators and you want to put together some combinations, it's good to work on the MNQ initially, and then obviously you can progress to the larger, the larger contracts like the NQ. So I'm going to just load 3 days on here, and that'll give us enough historical data to work with, just so we can see the indicators or enough data on the chart. All right, so here we go. So, the automated strategies have been, very effective, but, some of you guys might decide to run manual trading, which a lot of you have done in your, as I can see with the chats that you've shared. And, manual trading is great if you want to trade on Fridays. We don't run the automated strategies on Fridays because the market is completely out of whack on a Friday. As you can imagine, and I've explained this a few times on previous calls, but, on Fridays, a lot of the banks and institutions and hedge funds and all of those, larger trading entities, they looking to exit their positions before the end of the week. So they're not looking to hold positions over the weekend. So you're often going to have quite erratic, huge moves and, the price all over the place on a Friday. So the strategies are not really designed to, function very well with that, because literally anything can happen on a Friday, especially you can imagine, anything could happen over a weekend. So, all positions are mostly closed before the end of the week so that there's no risk of, the market opening limit up or limit down on the Monday, which, could very well happen if there's some crazy event happening in the world, someone get assassinated or some bombs go off somewhere or strikes here and there. You never know what could happen. So a lot of the institutions don't want to risk holding positions over a weekend. So that definitely makes a lot of sense. Okay, so let's put together a chart template. Obviously we're working the chart templates that are provided, like the signal charts. They are extremely effective. But I'm a very firm believer in that every single thing that we're doing now is going to be done better in the future. And that, that applies to everything, right? Nothing stands still. So we want to make sure that, we're always looking for other opportunities. We're always looking for different combinations of how we can display price effectively. So the first thing I'm going to start with is the brick wall indicator. So our SI indicator is absolutely one of the cornerstones of the DTB system. So a very nice place to start on the SI indicator is a 2-2. So setting A, setting B, 2-2. And you put that on your chart and immediately, wow, you're going to see, okay, look at that. That was our latest brick wall. As the market started, you can see, after the initial, stuffing around of the initial market open, our brick wall painted, and then the price has been trending up ever since. So that's a very good place to start when you're looking at signal charts. Okay, so we got that on our chart. Now let's go back to our indicator settings. And the next thing we want to check where are our institutional support and resistance levels. So this here is picked up in our Fibonacci levels. So by applying our Fibonacci levels to our chart, we are going to see, where those institutional levels are. And, there are a host of different values that you can select there. So if you want to deselect any of them, you can actually do that here. But we'll just leave them all active for now, including the 5-minute levels. So we'll give this a moment to load up. So as soon as you see calculating on the chart, you don't want to be clicking on anything anywhere within, the settings. So just let that complete its calculation. And, it does have a lot of information built into this indicator because we're looking at monthly Fibonacci levels. So this indicator is bringing up a lot of historical data up to, 12 months ago. So we're looking at monthly levels over the last 12 months and then weekly levels. So there's a lot of data that's actually being pulled in from this indicator. So we'll let this just complete. It normally doesn't take this long to activate, but we'll just let it go. I wonder if my my memory. Okay, so my memory, I should have actually restarted NinjaTrader before doing this because I had done quite a few optimizations earlier. So that is probably just lagging it a little bit. Give it a few more seconds here. So normally when you load up the indicators, they do load reasonably fast. And it's just that, if you're doing optimizations, it can hog the memory a little bit, and that can definitely slow down NinjaTrader. So once you've done your optimizations, it's a very good idea to restart NinjaTrader. So that's now starting to catch up. And an important thing to know is that, once the memory builds up in NinjaTrader, it doesn't release. So it does not release memory at all. The only way to release memory is actually restarting NinjaTrader. Okay, so now we're looking at obviously our brick wall. We're looking at our Fibonacci levels. You can see the price had some, reaction around the 76.4. So it ran straight up to it and then started, working around there. Actually, what I might just do, I might just restart NinjaTrader on the call. So just give me a sec. I'm just going to restart it just to free everything up. So I'm going to save that and just give me a second while I restart NinjaTrader. Okay. Okay, perfect. So that's now restarted. As you can see, it just loaded very quickly. Okay, so if we go now to our task manager, you'll see, there we go. It's completely released all that memory. So it's important to keep a look or a lookout for your memory being consumed. Like I said, I had run a whole lot of optimizations for the game plan and I hadn't restarted. So I should have really done that. Okay, so here we are. Now, one of the next indicators that are pivotal to the DTB system is the shadow trading. So we're going to go load that one up. Okay, so we're going to go to the DTB shadow trading. And we're going to apply that. You can see it loaded instantaneous. So that has been applied now. And this is where you're going to get, a lot of your divergences. You're going to get, these arrows to tell you where possible reversal points are. You're going to get, quite powerful signals based on this. We've got our momentum line. So as you saw earlier, just before the call started, you had the price reaching new highs, but our momentum line was right down. And that kind of just pulled the price down until we had this over here. And then we had the momentum line shift direction. And then we had a nice pull up. In fact, we also at a new level over here. So this is a new brick wall that's just been formed. So this is giving us a little bit more information on what price is doing. Okay, now the next thing we're going to look at, now for some of you, this might just be all you need. You don't need to have major cluttered charts. You don't need to have hundreds of indicators loaded. If you can see where the institutional levels are, you can see where the possible reversal points are, and, and you can read this effectively, this is extremely powerful. You don't need to go and load, a whole lot of additional things. So what we're going to do next is we're just going to increase this slightly. So again, we don't want to clutter, but we are going to just look at a few different combinations, because as you'll see just now, you may want to, alternate between a few of the different indicators and, just show price how, effectively that you can read it. So it's all about being able to load up different indicators and tools so that you are able to see what suits your specific trading style. So we're going to load up the ultimate bands. This isn't one that we've been playing with a lot recently, but it is damn effective. So just on the specific, on the exact settings that are on there. So we've got, our basic settings over there. So we've got the coloring of the bands. We've got the opacity of the coloring. You can obviously adjust that. So looking at that, we're going to see a few extra additional information. And one of those is going to highlight reversal bars. So going into the indicator settings, you will see that, just bring that up. You'll see on the ultimate band. So I'm going to just pull this up a little bit. So whenever we open up the settings, it'll come up first on the list. So you'll see it says highlight reversal bars. So now what that's going to do is it's going to show us instances where there's very likely to be reversals happening. And you can go back on the chart and you can review where those highlighted values are. Now you'll see like over there, those dots over there that appear. There's another dot over there. So looking at these, and these are going to appear in real time. So you're able to review these in real time, and they work nicely with the shadow trading. So as I was saying before, all of these tools are designed to work together. So very often you're going to have shadow trading produce signals, and you're going to have like the ultimate bands produce signals. You're going to have the brick walls lining up nicely. So they're going to provide, very effective signals and extra confirmations of where price is likely to reverse. So you can see over there, we had shadow trading, we had the ultimate bands, and we had the SI indicator. So you can see how beautifully they work together. Like over here, we had reversals into the brick wall, just really nice signals produced on that. Okay, so now also on this indicator, we have an option to slightly adjust the values of the ultimate bands. So I'm going to go over here. Actually, for this, I'm actually going to just reduce this chart slightly. So if I go over here and I just adjust this chart so that we can see, we can look at the settings while we're looking at the chart. Okay, so I'm going to do that, and I'm going to go to the indicator settings. And we'll pop this on the side over here. Okay, so there is a setting here called tick band shift. In fact, I might just make this chart a little bit smaller. So we can just display it all on the one screen. Okay, going back to the indicators. So it's a nice thing to be able to do. It is helpful if you've got multiple screens, and you can have the settings on the one screen and you can update them. But this tick band shift, you're going to see that you're able to adjust them. Now look, when I adjust the tick band shift, you're going to notice that it's going to widen the band a little bit more. And what that's going to do is it's going to show you the more extreme values for reversals. So you'll find now that the indicator is going to produce fewer of those reversal points because it's picking up more of an extreme divergence in price. So it's highlighting the more extreme points, and obviously it's not always going to be 100%, accurate, because, well, not accurate. I mean, if the market is being pushed down, you're going to have these reversals, but sometimes you're going to see a huge push up in price, but that's why it's important to have a few additional indicators to give you the most, the highest probability of success. So going back into the indicator settings, you can see over here too, that on the ultimate bands, you're able to adjust this tick band shift. And the cool thing about this is you can actually even go to a negative value. And this negative value is going to just tighten up the bands a little bit, and it's going to produce a few more signals. Now, obviously, producing more signals is going to, it's going to have a lot more dots on the screen, but it's also going to highlight quite a few more reversal points. Now, the more you reduce this, like you'll see over there, we had brick wall, we had the dots from the ultimate band. So when you're seeing situations where you've got a brick wall, you've got shadow trading, all working together, they present the absolute best opportunities. Now, sometimes you might look at this and say, oh my gosh, there's too many of these, these signals, and, it might be too much of an adjustment. So, very often it will be very effective, but just keep in mind that when you do adjust the tick band shift, which is basically the narrowing down of the indicator, you are going to get a few more signals. So you got to decide whether, you want more signals or you want more of the, more of the higher probability signals. Okay, so going back down, I'm just going to remove this to do not plot. I think this was on a sim. So, you got to be able to go back on the chart and decide, are there too many? Are there too few? And that's how you basically adjust that, and obviously you're going to have a huge run up in price often, which is going to, produce additional signals. But looking at this in real time, you should be able to get some really good reversal points. So these are not going to repaint. They're going to show historically where they are. So the bands themselves do repaint, but these very specific candles that are highlighted, they are basically going to stay there permanently. So you can see these stay there. They're not going to actually repaint. Okay, so now we've got that, and we can see a beautiful run up in price here. You can see how this last level, which is the brick wall, really showed a brick wall. I mean, the price did not want to go past that. So if the price can't go down, it's going to go up. So that's why the brick wall indicator is exceptionally effective. Okay, so going back into the indicator settings, okay, you'll see the next thing we can add on. So, one of our signal charts, one of our main charts is the take it and run signal chart. So I'm just going to put this back to 10. I think that is probably a better setting to work with over here. So leaving that on 10. And now we're going to add on our trend following indicator. So our trend following indicator is just going to give us a fantastic idea and visual representation of, where price is in relation to a few of the moving averages. So we've got a 2020 chart. So we're going to use a 2020. So I'm going to pop that on. And now we are seeing more of support and resistance banding. Okay, so looking at this, bringing up this chart, obviously we saw on the signal chart combo earlier how this band was so effective, reversal points, and so you got a few things that are basically coming into play over here. Okay, so now you've got a few different options over here. So looking at this indicator or looking at this chart, you will see that currently the shadow trading is actually plotting the coloring. So if I had to duplicate this window, duplicate this tab, it's going to obviously duplicate the chart. But what if we want the brick walls to be coloring the bars? So here we can go into the indicator settings. So, and if you guys want to ask any questions while we're about it, I'm going to keep the group calls chat open for members if there's any specific questions on what we're covering. So just pop that in there, pop in that chat. I'm just going to bring it up over here. There we go. Okay, so I've got it active there. I'll pop in a quick hello, so you guys know where that is. Okay, so we currently have the brick wall indicator, and we've got the shadow trading. So the shadow trading is currently painting the bar. So that is giving us our support and resistance, our buyers and sellers, who's in control of the price. So as you can see, all the way back from 803 to 832, the buyers have been in control of price. That's why the bars have all been green. There we've got another reversal point there from the ultimate bands indicator. But what if we prefer to have the brick walls actually paint the bars? So going into the shadow trading, you can deselect the paint bars on the shadow trading, and you can go and select the SI indicator to actually be painting the bars. Okay, so now what that's going to do is it's going to give us a different view of the coloring of the bars. So you'll see that, when the bars are red, the price is below a brick wall. When the bars are green, the price is above the brick wall. So I noticed on this one over here, we actually had two of the indicators painting the bars. So it's important to only have one specific indicator painting the main bars. So over here we had the SI indicator, which we don't really want to have, because we've actually got the shadow trading painting these bars, which is what we want over there. So this specific chart, we have the shadow trading painting the bars. And look at that nice little reversal we just had over there with the ultimate bands. 20, there's like 20, there's 30 ticks there already on that. And here we have the brick wall. So obviously we've had a huge, the last level is still showing the price above. So that's going to, show that. Now, you might be looking at this tool and thinking, okay, well, how can we limit some of the information on the chart? So you might want to look at this. I'm going to just go and duplicate this again in a new tab. And we'll say, okay, well, we're looking at the Fibonacci levels on another chart. So let's remove the Fibonacci levels from this very specific chart. So we're going to remove that. And then we're going to look at, what we're seeing on the chart. So currently we have the ultimate bands, we've got the SI indicator, and we've got the brick wall indicator. So we've got a few different things. So let's go and add on the smoothing average. So the smoothing average indicator was one that I initially got from one of our members who kindly, gave that through to me. So that was Fernando. So I've gone and obviously adjusted this indicator quite considerably to make it compatible with the DTB system. So that is on there now. So the cool thing about the smoothing average is it also has the ability to paint bars. So we can now go to the SI indicator, make sure that the paint bars are not selected on there. Okay, so the paint bars is unticked over there. And this time we can go to our smoothing average, and we can use the smoothing average to actually paint the coloring of the bars. And this way we're going to get the white bars and blue bars. So the white bars obviously is the price above, and the blue bars is below, and that's going to be producing signals. So as you can see, we still have the shadow trading giving us all our arrows. We still have the brick walls on there, which are giving us, where those support and resistance levels are, as you can see over there. But we're having a different coloring based on on the smoothing average indicator. So now looking at this, we want to try and make this as clear as possible, or not overburdening on us visually. So we can now go into the ultimate bands, and we can actually match up some of the coloring. So I'm going to just add on, if I go into my indicator settings, I'm just going to check something. So I'm going to match up the coloring of the area. So you're able to go and select you're able to select specific coloring of this. So I'm going to choose the white smoke, which is the same coloring as the trend following. And I'm going to select the Dodger blue as this one. So if you want to go to the colors, you just press the D if you know so that'll eventually take us to the dark Dodger blue. There we go. So I'm going to select that. I'm going to click on apply. So that's going to highlight that. And what we can do too is, if we don't want the opacity to be very strong on the ultimate bands, I mean, you still want to be able to see it, but maybe just have it a little bit less dominant on the screen. So now you can see you just got a slight shading behind there. And also, you know, the slate gray background is probably the very best one to use, you know, as I've explained in my setup documents, because it really highlights the tools very effectively, especially when you're coloring bars. You know, having a white background is going to, you know, completely just make it not very clear to see what price is doing. Okay, so we've got that on there. Our trend following, we can leave as is. And then we might decide, okay, so, you know, now we've got this, and you can see over here, we've got, you know, our dots over here from our trend following. We've got a line in between, but we can decide on the trend following that, you know, maybe we can just reduce some of the visual aspects of it. So we can go back into the settings of the indicator of the trend following, and you'll see at the bottom over here, we've got jaws, which we can actually make transparent. And again, you know, this is all just user preferred, but this is a good way just to, you know, play around with it, with the tools that we have, and, you know, just see what visually appeals to you while still being able to have a very clear representation of what price is likely to be doing. So now we've got the dots. We've got two sets of dots, which is pretty cool. And the one is from the trend following, and the one is from the smoothing average. Okay, so now we've got that on the screen. So now, because we don't have our Fibonacci levels on this chart, we haven't got the institutional levels, but what we can do is we can add on where the institutional volume is being placed into the market. So now we can go and add in our breakout volume. So the breakout volume, as you can see, you know, it really produces fantastic entry locations. It tells you where the volume is really being pumped into the price. And we'll load that up. So breakout volume, the cool thing about this is you can load, you know, 2 or 3 different settings of it. So each one of these has got a template. So the default template is the white one, which I'll leave on there. But then you can go template, and you can go load, and you can go and choose a few of the other values. So there's quite a few templates being put in here, and they are, you know, they're basically in the indicator settings. So you don't have to go and, you know, create your own. You can go and play around with some of the settings if you want, but these are basically being provided so that you guys can, you know, just load up settings immediately and work with them. Okay, so now you've got a pretty clean chart. You've got the ability to, you know, look at what price is doing. You got the momentum line. So, you know, maybe the momentum line is not something that you want to see on this chart. You know, again, it's completely preference if you want to keep the chart as clear as possible. So if we go into the settings, I'll just bring up the indicator settings over here, and we'll go into the shadow trading. Actually, in fact, on this specific chart, we can actually remove the shadow trading. Okay, so we can remove the shadow trading because what we can do is we can already see where the dots are for the main highlighted reversals. So if you want to remove the shadow trading in this one, you can click on apply on there, because now we have a good amount of information on the chart already. So we've got our breakout volume, we've got our brick walls. So now all of a sudden you're looking at a chart that is very, very simple to use. You've got ultimate bands, which is giving us, it's banding the price. You've got our trend following, which is just showing you the overall trend. You've got our brick wall indicator, which is telling you the ultimate support and resistance for price. And then you have your breakout volume markets. So you've got a decent amount of tools on this chart to be able to enter manual trades very effectively. And I might just increase the size of the text on here just so it can be a little bit clearer. So we'll go over here, we can make this like a 16, apply, and okay. So there we go. So there we have it. So a nice, and this can be created into a signal chart, right? So, as you know, we've got a lot of templates on here. We've got a lot of different signal chart templates. But, as I said before, every single thing that we're doing now is going to be done better in the future. And in fact, some of our signal charts have been created by members who have just been playing around with some of the indicators that have been, adding them to the chart, different combinations of them, different settings of them. So that is, one that we can create. And I actually might even create this one. So let's just go template, and I'm going to go save as, and I'm going to call it signal chart combo, and let's call it ultimate bands underscore brick wall underscore smoothing. Let's go that. Okay, and I'm actually going to save this. So DTB TT00. So whenever I create a template and it's got the DTB TT00 at the end, what will happen is it will save it inside the script. So then what will happen is when you guys run the script, you'll be able, that chart template will basically accompany your installation. So it's not going to be part of the script right away because I've obviously got to upload a new file. But now that is going to give you a new chart template to work with. And the good thing is that we spend some time just, working with a few of the indicators. So, that's basically the process that we go through to create different signal charts. And, one of the absolute incredible benefits of having a system of tools is you actually have indicators that are designed to work together. So, like I said on last week's call, we haven't got bits and pieces from random developers. We actually have a proper full-on system that can be used in multiple different combinations that can suit anybody's trading style. So, whether you want to see a lot of indicators on a chart, whether you want to see much fewer indicators on a chart, you definitely have the ability to add on a few, that can give you, a good visual aspect. So one of the last things I can pop on here, now I'll just duplicate this in a new tab. And, one of the more recent indicators that we've put in over the last few months has been our volume analytics. So we can pop that on this specific chart. So scrolling down to volume analytics. Again, for every type of size bar that you are using, so you might be using a 30-30 or a 40-40, you can actually adjust the values of, which bar is used. So I've used my useful idiot, which is the NinjaTrader bars. I've used these bars as the signals or the values for this volume analytics. So a lot of you guys like to use the NinjaTrader. So I've incorporated it into here. And this is something that, not even the company that produced these tools have actually accomplished. And that is actually the volume analysis of those bars. So you'll see over here how, this is the history of all of those bars that we have loaded in there. And it's telling us who are the, it's telling us what the volume is doing with regards to, the indicator settings and the values that we put in there. Now, the cool thing over here too is you can go in to the indicator settings and you could say, you know what, I would like to see what the volume analytics is telling me with regards to bar painting and coloring. So in this step, we go to obviously make sure all our paint bars are deactivated. So this one had our smoothing average as the paint bars, but let's go and look at our volume analytics. And again, we can move this right up and we could use the volume analytics on here to paint the bars. Okay, so now this is going to color the bars according to the volume that's been put in there. Now you will notice that the last column over here is, you'll see there's green, there's red and green. So that is the coloring of the volume. So obviously when you see red like this, it means that that specific bar, which is the 21.3 NinjaTrader bar, that bar was red for that period, which means, it was trending down. And now it's been trending up. So you can choose how many bars you want to analyze for a change in direction. So here we got 9. So as soon as there are 9 green bars in a row, it's going to paint the bars green. As soon as there are 9 red bars in a row, it's going to paint it red. So you can go and adjust this. So let's go and adjust this to 5. And it does the same for long and short. Okay, so coloring there. So now what it'll do is it'll start coloring the bars. And then what you can see over here is you can see you got all the existing indicators, you got your trend following, you got your ultimate bands, you got your brick wall, but then you've got the volume showing us who is basically, or what the current trend is of the volume analytics. And you can see how it changes from green to red. Obviously, when it's fluctuating like that, you're going to have quick changeovers. So like here, we're still on red. So the predominant value. So as soon as we have 5, I think we set it to 5, right? So going into the indicators, we had 5 as the change around. So as soon as we have 5 green bars in a row, we're going to have the coloring change. As soon as we have red, 5 bars in a row, we're going to have the coloring change. Okay, so there again, you've got something that is pretty decent. We've got our volume analytics, and we've got our breakout volume markers, and then you can immediately see, what the current trend is. So yeah, that's basically what I wanted to cover today on this call. Is since a lot of you guys are focusing on manual trading also, which is extremely important. I mean, if you want to be telling your friends and other people that that you are a trader, but you're only running automated strategies, clicking a button, loading up a game plan, you're not really a trader, right? You kind of are just letting a system trade for you. But if you can set up some signal charts, or even use the existing signal charts and actually enter manual trades and be effective with that, then you can call yourself a trader, right? You can call yourself a day trader. So, it's just one of the many aspects of the DTB system. You want to be able to have automated, which is extremely effective with the DTB system, but you also want to be able to, load up a chart and enter manual trades, based on what you are seeing on the chart. And by setting up templates like this, or creating different combinations of tools, it gives you a really good insight into what price is doing, but then it's really helping you with your manual trading, because you're able to make decisions, based on very, very highly accurate trading tools, and then enter positions. Right. Yeah, that's what I wanted to cover. So there was a question in there. So each column is for each NinjaTrader time frame. Exactly. So if you look at the settings of the indicator, you're going to see the volume for each of those bars based on whether it was above the open or below the open. So that's what this is going to be. Now, another cool thing that you can do, if you don't want to see, multiple different values in here, you could actually set all these values to the same, and that's just going to give you coloring. So you'll see a whole block of red or a whole block of green, and then you can, it's more visually appealing because it's the end bar. So whatever this end bar is set at, so say for example, I set this as a 40, okay, you're going to see that the coloring of the bars are going to change based on that specific bar size. Okay, so like there we got a 40, and then you can see we got green bars all over the place now because, it's a much higher value and we haven't had enough red bars to be able to show us a change in direction. So remember, it's always the last time frame which is going to give you the value. So if you set this as a 10, okay, that's going to update, and obviously you're going to have a lot more different coloring of bars, and you're going to have a lot more changeovers. So setting it to a lower value probably isn't the best idea to work with. So there it's a nice opportunity to be able to adjust it to a value, and I found 21 to be effective. It's just basically 9, 12, 15, 18, 21. This is a nice combination of values, and it's going to give us, a good indication of like a mini trend, right? And one of the things you can do, so you can scroll back on the chart and always look at the far right of the chart, because obviously that is where you're making trading decisions. So whenever you come up with a chart template that you think could be effective, scroll back on the chart and just look at the indicators in action. So you must be able to do this and say, okay, well, am I going to be caught out? Am I going to make the right trading decisions? Am I going to, if I see this in real time, is it going to be clear to me what I need to do? Now, we don't have the breakout volume markers showing here because they only show in real time. But with the other supporting indicators, you should be able to, look back on the chart, look back at the signals and say, yes, I can see that that's where I would have jumped in, or, that makes sense to me. So whatever you create, make sure that, reviewing the chart, and even if you want to run playback, you might want to set up a chart template and then run it on playback and just watch it, with a slight speed up. Obviously, you don't want to be sitting there, watching every tick of every bar, but, watch it in playback and see if that is something that, you can relate to, because, it's every single person has a different trading style when it comes to entering positions. Now, I believe obviously on the signal chart combos that we have created, like the show me the money, it is an effective chart for most people, but it's important that whatever chart that you are trading on manually is that you should be able to look back and really decide whether, you are able to enter positions effectively. So, just by running back on the chart like I did over there and then scrolling ahead and always focusing on the last, bit of the chart, it's going to, just tell you whether that is a good chart template for you or not. And look how beautifully these reversals have been, these highlights of the reversal bars, bar coloring, looking at the trend, how it's staying above. So, I think this is a beautiful chart to work with. Those brick walls, as I said, are, I don't think there's anything that exists even remotely close to what we have. And like I said, that's why most of our strategies are using the brick wall indicator in different iterations of it. There's a few different combinations of the brick wall indicator. And one of the iterations is our momentum bars. Now, our momentum bars is a slight variation of the SI indicator. So if I go to momentum bars over here, and I also select this as a 2 and a 2, we're able to select the arrow count. So when the arrow count is basically the price bouncing off brick walls. So if we say we only want to take the second signal off a brick wall, we can load that one up. So I'm just going to make this one paint the bars instead of our volume analytics. And let's see what that looks like. Okay, so there we've got a different setup over there. Now we've got the brick wall being painted according to the momentum bars. So now that's going to act specifically on the second signal or the second time that the price bounces off a brick wall, and it's going to paint the bars accordingly. Now that's, sometimes you're going to have, the price run down and then the price is going to go up and the bars are red, but that's just because the price hasn't broken through the brick wall twice. So it's only going to show the last signal where it happened twice. So like over here, that's where the price, changed to the second signal over here, back even further actually. But now that's going to produce those signals. So there's definitely a few very awesome combinations that you can have, and it's pretty damn incredible, right? You have to admit. So looking at where those brick walls are and then having the price paint accordingly. And I mean, there's just so many of these indicators that you can use in different combinations. And the nice thing is you can play around with them because they all been designed to work together. You haven't got, random bits and pieces. You've got a complete trading system over here that can really be modified or adjusted to work with any person's trading style. Yeah, so that is that. And we'll go back to the volume analytics and we'll have this painting the bars again. See, so it gives you also a nice heads up of, look at all the negative, look at all the red volume over here. So that was telling us, on all of those bars, the price was going down. So it is giving us a nice representation of price using some really powerful tools with the volume analytics as one of them to be able to, give you those price reversals, support and resistance levels without even making the chart too complicated. So if I duplicate this in a new tab, and what I'm going to do is just go back to our main signal chart, which is our template, load, signal chart 5, show me the money. That's that one over there. So this chart is, see, that this is the chart that does that. Okay, we had some nice reversal bars over there. You can see, the price reacting with the shadow trading, the coloring of the bars. So, I believe there's no system or no indicator set combination that provides so much insight into price. So it's very hard not to be successful using a system like this because, you have everything basically on a plate for you and not just bits and pieces. And look how also the previous levels, like the volume breakout markers, they serve as resistance levels, support levels. They all are basically there. So I feel very sorry for any competitors because to come up with something even remotely close to this, they must really be, shitting themselves. Anyway, there we go, guys. I'm going to leave it at that. Hope you guys got some value out of this call. And I encourage you to put together a few combinations. What I have done in the past is I've awarded complimentary membership to people who have come up with really fascinating signal charts using a combination of these indicators. And the take it and run template is the perfect example of that. And, so they've created really incredible templates using these tools. And then they've documented them also very effectively. So they've provided a really good document of, when to enter trades, taken screenshots. They've traded it in real time themselves over extended periods of time. And, they've basically proofed it, as I've done with the show me the money signal chart. And then they've documented those those trades. They've documented the entry, criteria for the chart. And I've given them a great benefit by giving them complimentary membership to the DTB system, which is freaking priceless. And it's benefiting members. I mean, we want to help people, right? We want to make sure that as many people as possible can get the best use and the best results out of the system, because, we don't want people to come and go, right? We don't want people to join for a week and then cancel because they're a bit lost, or, they don't know what they're doing. We want to provide, which we have already, but we want to provide a really powerful system that someone can look at and say, yeah, I can trade this. I can trade this. And the only way that you cannot trade this effectively is if you've got some other issues built in from past experience that is hindering your progress. So guys, use these tools, work with the different indicators. It's called a system for a reason. Don't just focus on the automated. Work with the indicators, work with the existing signal charts. I mean, even if you don't really want to start off and go and try and plan your own signal charts, use the tried and tested signal charts that already exist. But also know that as you progress, I mean, look at this chart. Jesus, I must just deactivate my camera. I mean, you have such an incredible system here. So, I'm really excited to be continually sharing this week in and week out, and, working with new members to, be very effective using the system. And, we're only going to continue going up and up and up from here. Okay, guys, thank you so much for jumping on the call, and, continue posting results. Really, really important. And, I look forward to, sharing again next week and following the chats, posting my own results on the game plan, and so on and so forth. Hey, guys, thank you. Have a fantastic week ahead and all the best. Cheers.